I didn't even realize that.
I don't know where October went. It's wild. I don't even know.
I don't know where the year went. Here comes Garth. Here comes Anessa. The stream is streaming. Does everyone think I've got a thick South African accent? Somebody said to me the other day, wow, you really have got a thick South African accent. Oh,
I don't think so. I think you've got a somewhat British accent.
yeah, I know. Morning, Josh.
Morning. Sorry for being 3 minutes late. Ugh, that's not that bad. I'm not that sorry. But if I helped anyone
Naughty
up, I am.
boy. How dare you.
But it's great to see everyone.
It's great to see you too. Right, Garth is trying to join. Right, who would like to build the container? There we go. Go for it, Kaylin.
All right. So help me out if I'm doing this wrong. So I believe we're at session 8 today of the 8 of the 40 weeks. 8 of the 40? Yes.
20 weeks.
Of the 20. It's 40 hours, 20 weeks. So 8 of the 20 weeks, week 8. And yeah, meeting every week at this time, which is now a different time for those in the calling from the UK, if anyone's calling from the UK. And yeah, I'm going to, can I start the check-in or did I miss something? Yeah, Kaylin checking in, excited and hopeful. Just had a visa application approved, so lots of stress, but it's going to lead to great things. So excited for that. And I'm going to tag Mark.
Thanks, Kayleen. Mark checking in with Joy. Excited for the class this morning. And then I'll tag Josh.
Thanks, Mark. I'll be honest, I'm checking in with a lot of dread and anxiety. I've had a tough couple days, but I'm okay. So yeah, coming with that and really hoping that today kind of makes me feel a little bit better. But checking in and tagging Inessa.
Morning. So I'm still trying to get my fatkies in the little things. And other than that, it's going really good. And I'm going to check tag Yas. Only
Yes.
in.
Who's yes?
Morning, everyone.
Yes, Yasmin, she's from Wales. I think
Hello,
that's who you're
Yasmin.
talking about.
Hello, can you hear me, guys?
There we go.
Yes, we can.
Yes.
Good morning. Sorry, I've missed the beginning of this call, so I'm not. Are we doing an introduction?
Yeah, just to check in and so and we're only 6 minutes in, so it's great.
Okay.
Yasmin, just your name and a feeling, love. That's all we're doing at the moment.
Sorry.
Just your name and a feeling.
Okay. My name's Yasmin. I'm feeling a bit of sadness this morning. But we lost our nan yesterday, so I'm struggling with. I think I'm in shock a little bit. But grief is a long process, isn't it? So, yeah.
I'm really sorry for your loss, Yasmin.
Thank you.
What was your nan's name?
Radine.
Radine.
Yeah.
And was she on your mother or your father's side?
My mum's.
Okay. I'm really sorry, huh?
It's okay. Thank you.
Yeah. So welcome to the container, and you know, just go however you want. That's going to keep you safe and feeling respected. Yeah.
Mhm. Thank you.
Okay.
David,
Yeah.
please can you WhatsApp me your link, not your personal meeting link, the link with the number?
Oh, the phone. Okay. Let's see if I can do this. All right, let's keep checking while we're going. Who's next?
Thank you, Yuri.
Morning, everyone. Apologies for being late. Can you hear me?
Yep.
Okay. Checking in, feeling a bit foggy this morning. I think I'm just starting to wake up now after 2 hours of being awake, but I'm ready to go. And who's next? Who do I take?
I think Leanne next.
Right, Leanne.
Sorry, David, can I just see that Zoom link? I've got someone who's trying to check in. So sorry, I'm a little distracted. I'm checking in distracted.
I'm trying to
Thanks.
find out how to get it. You know.
You need to go into your profile.
Yeah. Oh, this is going to be a mission this morning.
She says you can't check in with her Mac without an ID. She needs I don't know. I'm not sure.
I've got a spot where I can grab it if that will help, and I can put it in the chat.
That'd be amazing. Thanks so much.
Okay. Then you guys can carry on with the meeting.
Thank you.
She wants to be able to dial in.
David, just carry on. Ines is going to send me the link. Thanks.
Oh, okay. Right. So where's Kayleen? All right. So Kayleen, now find out if there was any homework.
Right. Does anyone recall us having had any homework? I don't have something in my notes specifically, but if there are any, maybe I didn't write it down. I don't have anything written down here, but if anyone would like to step in and remind me, that would be great.
I can't remember anything either, Kaylin. I don't know if I'm also mistaken.
God, what bad facilitation on my part. You had no accountability. Wow. Okay. All right. So
I do accountability being something that came up quite a lot towards the end of our session about, I think so. But yeah, that's all I remember. Sorry, David, if we're forgetting something crucial there.
No, it's fine. So we're class number 8. So we've done the conversation. Yeah, we're looking along the continuums. And at the end of each coaching session, you're looking to forward the action and deepen the learning. So to work with the client or the coachee or whoever it is in stepping forward and moving towards a solution or towards a culture of resilience, a culture of recovery, and yeah. So if we didn't task anything, then I guess that's on my side as much as everyone else's. All right, let's see who we trying to meet. Who's this? Dylan. Del Rey? Did I say it right?
Yeah, that's it. That's the lady who's been trying to get in. Thanks.
Cool. Good morning, Delray. Good morning, Garth. Delray, would you like to check in?
David, Delray is new to the container, so you're going to maybe
Right.
need to explain a little bit what you mean by that.
Okay. Good morning, Delray. Can you hear me? We can't hear you if you are responding. Okay, so let us know when you're connected properly. Garth, would you like to check in? Morning, mate.
Hi, morning. Yeah, I'm checking in, feeling relatively content. Quite busy at work today, so I've got my camera off as I run around doing stuff. And yeah, no complaints. Looking forward to today.
Okay. Great. Thanks, Garth. So Delray, can you hear us? I'll just check in the chat.
So David, Dora, and Yasmin are both new to the container. Neither of them have worked with me or you. And I have explained to them that we are already into the process. Is there any chance we can just recap a little bit around check-in, etc.? And maybe it'll be good for everyone else 8 weeks in to just bring them up to speed a tiny bit.
Okay.
Thanks.
So Yasmin's from Wales, yes?
Yes, I'm from Wales.
Okay. Welcome. And where and does anyone know where Delray's from?
I think Joburg somewhere.
Okay, great. All right. So welcome Wales and welcome Africa. So this is the recovery coaching training, and the coaching training is about teaching a skill set, the coaching conversation, for we go for 20 weeks. Yep, and this current cohort is in week number 8. Yeah, and the first 4 classes are really around the coaching conversation, how to have a coaching conversation, how coaching is different from psychology, how it's different from counseling, how it's different where coaching sits in relation to working with someone. Yeah. And you get different types of coaching. So you'll get like sports coaching, business coaching, life coaching. And what we're specifically interested in is recovery coaching, where recovery coaching sits. So recovery coaching works in the culture of addiction, essentially, in building relationships with people within the culture of addiction to move them towards a culture of recovery. And what we do is we connect and we meet and we check in and we build rapport with our clients to help have a conversation to shift them to a solution strengths-based focus. Yuri, you got your hand up.
Yeah, sorry, Dave. Is it possible for you to perhaps move the mic closer to your voice?
So we're really having challenges this morning, huh?
Yeah, you can hear, but it's just very soft.
Okay, how's that?
That's much better.
Is that much better? Okay, sorry about that. Okay. So we lost Delray. Okay. Yeah, so I'm a bit on my toes this morning. I can feel I'm a bit like, oh shit, where are we going with all of this? Yes, do you want to give us tell us a little bit about yourself, just so that I can then adjust myself to you. So, and I know your nan's just passed. I'm sorry about that. What what industry are you in, or a bit of history about yourself, or what you'd like to, what your interest is in recovery coaching? Are you okay to tell us that?
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
I'm from Pembrokeshire, a small town on the coastline in Wales. I'm opening up a recovery lounge in my local community, which is going to have saunas and ice baths. I went on my own journey with the saunas and ice baths, and I went through something quite traumatic and ended up having an addiction to wine. I managed to pull myself out of a really dark place, and since then I've been supporting other people. But sometimes I think I don't know the right way to start a conversation with someone. I can help them with the tools that I've learned myself, but sometimes I find myself at a crossroad with words.
Okay. So yes, did we speak a few weeks ago?
Yes, we did.
Okay, now it's coming back.
We were talking
to me.
about walking.
Yes, that's right. So you're starting a Lero.
Yes.
Great. Okay, so just for the rest of the container, the rest of the classroom, Alero is a lived experience recovery organization, which is quite a big thing here in the UK, and it's getting a lot of traction in the UK, where somebody with lived experience can partner with organizations to bring the benefits of having lived experience to improve treatment outcomes or resources. Okay, yes, thank you. All right.
Thank you.
It's all coming back to me now. I'm really sorry for your loss, huh? That's thrown me a bit. And I
It's
can
okay.
imagine how it's thrown you.
She was fighting a battle of cancer for a long time, so I think I grieved it a long time ago. It's just almost it happened quite suddenly, but it's okay.
Okay. And were you close?
Yeah, towards the end we was growing up, we were really close, and then we lost contact for a couple of years, but the past 2 years since she's been poorly, we've come a bit closer, yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, it's okay.
All right. And
Thank you.
no, it's an absolute pleasure. So I'm just trying to dance with you in a way that's first of all just
No, it's fine.
trying to remember how we met, and so I'm just kind of
Through
settling
Recovery
myself.
Connections.
Yes. It's come now. Did you start to go through the online material?
Yes, I have.
Okay. How far have you gotten?
Oh, I can't remember. I think I was at the end of the quiz of the first one.
Okay, great. So you've got a
Somewhere.
good foundational start.
Yeah, I've been going over it quite a lot actually, but yeah.
Okay. So from the first time we met, I remember you being very enthusiastic and excited about doing this.
Yeah, I
So
definitely am.
all right, cool. Okay. So I can feel myself settling now. It's like, oh, okay. So I'm getting a good picture of kind of where you are in the journey. So just hang around. You'll start to pick it up. We're at week 8, which is the continuum part of it. So we've had the conversation where you chat with someone, and then you go into the continuums to kind of track where someone is going. So there are 4 continuums. There's the one from premature death to high well-being, and you want to always engage with your client moving towards high well-being. So that might be harm reduction or something. So if you were drinking wine alcoholically, maybe you want to reduce wine to get to a place of complete abstinence. If you're using kind of street drugs and move to kind of prescription medication, relationships with food or whatever. So you meet the client where they're at, and you have an engaging conversation that moves them towards high well-being. And we started this container today by saying, well, where's the homework? Was there anything that we need accountability for? And there wasn't. So So then I kind of look and think, oh shit, all right. So what am I doing in keeping the container in integrity of continuously moving forward? Okay. The other continuums are use, misuse, abuse, and dependence. So where someone is on the way down
Okay.
into the pits of addiction or the way out of it. And then the fourth continuum is where relationships are kind of codependent, independent, and where you want to get to a place of interdependence.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's kind of where we're at. So we'll just kick off now. We'll
Okay,
just
cool.
jump in. Each time this environment, so we get the theory of coaching, we get the practice of coaching, and then the process. And this 2 hours is for us to kind of model the process and to dance in the chaos so that people can get an idea of what it's like.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yep, cool. Okay.
All right. So we
Thank
started
you.
off the check-in, and Josh checked in a little bit. I'm going to say vulnerable, Josh. Is that okay? Yeah. Okay. And would you and then Yaz, you checked in with your loss. So I'm just trying to kind of check for the safety of the container, not that things are unsafe when people are kind of freaked out, but just for my own anxiety. So Josh, do you want to spend a couple of minutes just getting some clarity or kind of updating us where you're at?
No problem. And yes, if you don't feel like doing this, you will eventually, because this is such a strong container that eventually you just feel okay with it, and it's nice. I've been struggling a lot with how I'm nearing 30, and I know that you might laugh at this, David, because you're over 30, and everyone over 30 thinks it's silly. But I don't know. I was always taught that if you work hard in school, you finish your degrees, you're going to get that job as long as you work hard. And if you've got your degree, everything is going to sort out. And just this process of becoming a clinical psychologist has been so tough, and it weighs on me every day of my life. And every so often, I just have these moments of dread that bleed into like existential dread. And I think about like the moment I'm going to die and how that's going to feel. So when Yaz speaks about, her gran, it also makes me worry about my grandparents and my parents. And I don't know, I tend to spiral quite a bit. But I also think that this is, a byproduct of the fact that I did have a birthday party on the weekend and we drank quite a bit. And definitely there's like some residual psychological effects to that really, really impacts me. I mean, definitely feel like if we're talking continuums, it definitely falls along the misuse on the side of it. Because I don't want to be feeling like this. And yeah, I just think last night I was thinking to myself how when I was younger, I thought I'd have this huge career and I'd have patience and I'd be working and I'd be doing all this stuff, and how it hasn't really turned out the way that I wanted it to. And it's hard for me to not be so hard on myself and to just, see where I am in South Africa, know that our unemployment rate is super high, know that I put in really good effort, that I was a great academic. I contextualize my experience with people like Kayleen that are also battling to get into masters. But it's still tough. It's still really, really hard. Sometimes I feel like I'm an imposter, that I don't even know how to be alive. Sometimes I'm envious of people like Anessa who have God and Christ to give them meaning and faith in life. And yeah, I don't know. Ooh, I'm actually getting a bit emotional just saying it, but it's a lot of feelings. I don't think they're very coherent. But yeah.
So there were some big deep breaths there, huh?
Yeah, oxygen, it's important.
Okay. So how old are you on the weekend? 29?
28, so not still 2
28.
years from 30. But I like to panic in advance, I like to do pre-panic before the panic to prepare myself for the panic.
Okay.
Yeah.
So there's a sense of humor as well around.
Yeah.
Okay. So
Yeah.
so thank you for sharing all that. I've got so many things I'd love to jump in with, but where would you like to take this? Because there was a lot of like and
I don't know. I think it's hard. And I think that's when it comes to like this coaching work and how it's always so client led. I think that makes me comfortable being a coach. It doesn't make me comfortable being coached because I don't know where I want to go. I mean, I can tell you how I'm feeling now and how I'd like to be feeling.
Okay,
I'm
so tell us
feeling
that.
quite like I'm feeling a little bit like hopeless, like when people say things will work out,
Oh, fuck
I'm
that.
having
No, it's
feelings
not gonna
of,
work out.
yeah, like when people say you'll meet, like I've got my partner, but it's another example. People say you'll meet your soulmate. I'm like, no, who knows? Maybe you won't. Maybe you'll die alone. Like things will work out. Maybe they won't. Like that's how I think. I'd like to feel excited again. And I know that's possible because I've felt that in this course almost every single session. And I'd like to just feel excited again. Like just the fact that this year's ending and I'm going to have to start master's applications again next year, it fills me with dread. I'm like, how the hell am I going to do this again? Like, it's so draining.
How the hell am I gonna? Oh God. Oh.
Yeah, it's hard. I want to feel excited about it again and at least hopeful. I want to be okay with change and I want to be okay with not knowing how things are going to work out, if that's even possible,
And as you sit there in this hard place, how much sadness is there? That was another big sigh.
I see that's why, because I battle with things like sadness. I don't feel sadness as much as I feel other people feel sadness. I feel anxious a lot and like angry.
Okay,
That's like my core emotions. Is that where I should start with my anger?
No, fuck. I'm trying to work out where to start. I'm just trying to get an idea of where you're at. So let's just check. So you had your 28th birthday on the weekend. You spent you drank quite a lot of alcohol. You're feeling
yeah.
the effects of this. You're having a bit of a kind of, your words were existential crisis. Yeah, like what's it all about? I wish I had like God or Jesus in my life, like a Nessa. It's like, fuck, I look at my partner, and then people tell me I'll find my soulmate, and like, it's like, oh, I got to do masters next year, and I thought I was going to be somewhere else at this age, and I'm not, and I'm like, oh.
Yeah. It's a lot of feelings. I mean, the sadness isn't really there because I'm very privileged. Like my partner is great. My home life is great. I'm supported. It's just a little bit of like frustration because I feel like I did everything that I was supposed to do. And then I didn't get there. Yeah.
I followed the rules and it shouldn't be like this.
Yeah. I mean, me and Mark have said in sessions that we've had together, he was all like, oh, it's awesome you've got these degrees. And I said to Mark, university's a scam. Like, I told him flat out, that's what I think. I think it's a scam. And this is coming from someone with 2 degrees that spent thousands and thousands of my money. So I don't know. I want to get to a place of excitement again about this all. And I think one of the thoughts and feelings are like, okay, cool. It's all fair and well for me to do this coaching thing, for me to do the other things that I'm doing, like this brand management course. But what am I going to do with it? Because I've got a lot of things. I've got my honors degree. I've got my undergraduate degree. I've got these things, but I'm unable to do stuff with it. And I think I just need to.
Important for you, huh?
Yeah, I mean, that's how I feel like I'm progressing in life. It's like I need like to achieve goals and they need to be like tangible things. But I'm finding as I get older, it's not really filling that hole. Like it needs to be practical work. It doesn't need to be a piece of paper saying I'm capable. That's not good enough for me anymore.
Okay. So like, fuck the paperwork. University's a con.
Yeah.
I thought I was going to get these pieces of paper and I was going to be okay. And actually, I'm pissed off it's not like that. I mean, I'm doing this brand management course and I've done honors and I've done this.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was telling Mark the other day, it's not.
It sounds awful because I really admire education and I'm proud of my education. I don't really think it's a scam, but there's like a part of me that has that like angry response.
It sounds awful.
Yeah, I mean,
What's
I
coming
wouldn't want
through?
someone to tell my child education's a scam, like, because it's not inherently. I've learned a lot of things. I carry myself more eloquently. I'm more capable when it comes to producing work, and it's definitely. And I've learned a lot about SARC. It's not like I haven't learned anything. It's just, and I know that perhaps Kayleen, I imagine, I'm trying to try speaking now. I imagine that Kayleen understands a lot of this frustration and the feeling, because it's an up and down thing. And it's gotten to the point where I've done this for so long, David, that it's become a very big part of my identity, to the point where if I feel like I'm not doing mental health work, then I need to like reconstruct my identity completely. And I think I've spoken to Mark, and Mark's been helping me a lot with this, kind of trying to find an identity outside of SARC, trying to do things to discover myself more. And Mark's like given me homework to like reflect with him every day and like do that thing. And that was my idea, and I agreed. I did it one day, the homework. And it's just he's laughing, he knows. And it's, yeah, and sometimes I'm worried that I battle with action. Sometimes, and I don't know why. It's not like if it's for lack of trying. Yeah, it's confusing. I don't think there's much I could really like do in 15 minutes with this, because it is kind of just a feeling that I feel like I just have to feel and go through, because I've felt it before,
When did you feel it before?
Oh, this is like my third year applying. So I've been rejected a few times. It's quite normal for the process to get rejected quite a bit. And I remember doing my TICS interviews, and the interviewer saying, your marks are so good, your marks are so good. And I couldn't take that compliment, because I was waiting for the but, because if my marks are so good and they're not accepting me, I'm like, oh God, they must think I'm crazy, because I don't know what it is. But I don't know, it's a complicated process. And you don't get feedback, and they berate you in front of people and trying to get you triggered, and it's quite a brutal process. It breaks you down. You end up leaving kind of feeling quite naked. Yeah. So I'm just trying to put my clothes back on, man, slowly.
So you seem a little bit more relaxed.
Yeah.
Like your
feel
body
better.
is a bit like your arms over the couch.
Yeah. Yeah, I think I just needed to vocalize that as well, because I think sometimes I feel it, and because it's been something that's been happening for 3 years, I don't see the point in vocalizing it, because what's the point? I've had this conversation before, but there is a point. Yeah, it's like writing something down. You can see it, and it's not that scary anymore to chat.
And what's it like in your world right now?
My internal world or my external world?
I don't fucking care.
My internal world kind of feels okay. It's the same kind of feeling that I get after like something happens and I've cried, and then you're like done crying and you just feel better, and you're like, oh, you kind of, your nasal cavities are clear because you just like snotty cried like that. That's how I kind of feel.
Okay.
But like on the inside.
So if you were to take a line, yeah, you've kind of moved along a little bit.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And also it feels nice to talk about it, because I feel like to come into the container with all those feelings and to just like carry on, it's tough, because I want to be present.
Okay.
And now I feel like I'm feeling more present. That's what I'm feeling.
You're feeling more present. Okay.
Yeah, 100%.
All right. So if we described what you were carrying to be a rucksack, yeah, just kind of putting it down for a bit.
Yeah. Yeah.
What would you call that rucksack?
Trump.
Who?
Trump.
Trump.
Yeah. Something that's weighing heavy on everyone's shoulders. Probably
Okay.
doesn't look very nice, and it's very old and need to get a new one.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's just triggered my level 1 listening and just gone, oh fuck, what is happening with the elections there?
Don't look it up. Just maybe wait until. Don't look it up on the break.
Okay.
But no, I think I'd call that burden just, I don't know. It feels like it's my own weight. it feels like I'm putting that weight on myself because I'm really, really hard on myself. And
Sounds like
yeah,
it.
yeah, no, it's bad, eh? And I'm surrounded by like my partner who's also very, very hard on himself. And I banned negative self-talk in our household because we constantly say things like, oh, well, I'm shit and I'm a fucking bad boyfriend and I'm not really good at this. And like, I'm like, why the fuck do we do that? And I just don't want to do that anymore. We can say we feel that way. Like, I feel like I can be a bad boyfriend sometimes. I'm okay with that. But like the negative self-talk, I don't know. I'm definitely urging for some kind of active change in my
Mm.
life for sure.
And what do you think that is?
I know my purpose and know my meaning. We've discussed it. I think it's actually utilizing that. You know, I feel like I wanna get out there and I wanna do stuff. I mean, right now the work that I'm doing it's great, but it's not the work that I want to be doing. And
And what
yeah,
are you doing now?
right now I teach English to adults in the Middle East.
Oh, okay.
And that's really great because sometimes they call me doctor because they confuse that with the word teacher, but I'm only going to teach them at the end because it's so great to hear that every day. But it's also it's a bit frustrating because it's not really the type of work I want to do. And sometimes because it is such personal work, that's tell me a little bit about their lives. And I just want to focus on that. But I'm like, but we got to go over your vowels. So like, let's talk about what's happening with your husband next time. And yeah, I don't know. I think I'm definitely wanting to go out there and do work that makes me feel like I'm actively contributing to the world. And I know that that does, but I don't know, in a way that I'm actually trained. I don't know. I suppose I'm more, Kaylee, do you not have anything to say about this process? Because like, it's so hard for me to talk about.
Okay,
Mm.
so before Kayleen jumps in, let's just keep the lens on you for a bit.
Ah, fuck, it makes me so scared, actually.
Does it? Okay.
Yeah, I've no, not in a bad way, like something, maybe it's good, but I don't, I battle with taking up space and I'm like looking at the clock and I'm like, geez, this has become Josh coaching session.
Well, it has become a coaching session, and we're
Yeah.
dancing in the container, and I've got my own anxiety of trying to like, fuck, how do we talk about coaching? How do we talk about the continuums? How do we do kind of live coaching where people can witness this? So I've got my own internal dialogue there.
Mm,
But I'm pleased you've bought this because we're trying to have a conversation to kind of move you forward. Yeah.
mm,
And at the
yeah.
moment, if we get curious about moving forward, it's like, well, fuck, I'm pissed off. This is fucking done this. I don't want to do my third year again like that. The third time round of doing this. I'm tired of being rejected. You know,
Mm.
I'm tired of the negative talk in my house. Da, 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 da. And fuck, Kayleen, why don't you help me out here? And there's a lot of frustration there.
Yeah. I think it's because this isn't really something to move forward. I'm doing actions here. Like I'm doing things that are moving me forward. And
Okay.
it is a little bit like it's like grief or like, you know, it's something you kind of just have to like sit through and
Okay.
experience and just move through it. But yeah, I suppose just talking about it makes me feel better. But the action is this class. This action is the other course I'm doing. The action is what I'm doing in my daily life.
Say
It's
more
just
about
sometimes hard.
grief.
Grief, feeling like you've lost something. I mean, part of this career and wanting to do that and identifying with it so much means that when you get rejected, you feel like you've lost a part of yourself, like it's
Okay.
literally died. So grieving that part of yourself. Yeah, and that's it's a difficult thing, you know. And I go sometimes from like a stage of just really accepting it to anger. And the sadness only really exists right after the rejection. Then right after that, it's yeah.
So let's just name your loss. What was it?
I lost an imagined future
Okay.
for next year, yeah.
All right. So you created a whole lot of expectations around what your future would look like.
Yeah.
And now it's like, oh fuck, it doesn't look like it's gonna be like that anymore.
Yeah. 100%. And now I suppose I'm trying to project myself into the future with other things, you know, and do that in a hopeful way. And yeah, it's not a very linear experience, you know. The continuum, sometimes you slip and slide a little bit backwards. Sometimes I slip and slide a
No,
little
no,
bit
no. I
backwards.
was drawing a continuum. It's not like that. It's
Oh,
actually
that looked like the
yeah.
capital letter I. I would hate to have you as a partner in Pictionary. But it's still good work. But yeah, humor's a big thing for me as well. Like humor makes it so much better, you know.
Okay.
So I don't know. I think I just need to, I know what I want to do. I want to stick with this. I want to like really go for it. I want to look for opportunities. I want to, you know, once I get my hours in and stuff and I've got my certification, I want to start coaching. You know, I want to do that. And that now is filling me with hope. And I suppose, yeah, it's hard for me to imagine that that is a possibility, that I can actually end up there, because that would mean that I do have a little bit of something to look forward to. I don't know. And I'm scared to have something to look forward to again, in case it gets taken away.
How long have we
Yeah.
been coaching for?
What do you mean, like in terms of actual practice that I've done?
No, now, right now, this.
All right, 8 sessions, so like 8 weeks.
No, me and you.
Oh, God, no. I've tried to stop looking at the clock because it was taking me out of the present moment, so I don't know.
All right.
If anyone gives an exact time now, yeah, there we go. That person has been well aware, Nessa knows, because I've been talking for long.
Okay. So let's start to wrap this up.
Cool. Grateful.
And if I was to suggest some homework, it would be just to fucking do nothing. To just kind of sit next to the rucksack on the path of the road and just kind of like, okay, well, I've got to wait for this to pass. I've got to wait to.
Yeah. That's great homework. I'll try. I don't think it's very difficult, so I think I can do
Well,
that.
it might be harder than you think.
Yeah, there might be some guilt with doing nothing, but we'll
Okay.
see. And then I'll check in with you guys next time, tell you how that went. That's my accountability there,
All right.
client-led.
Great. Good. There's a bit of kind of sarcasm in the word. Well, that's my accountability, client-led.
But yeah, no, I think that's good homework.
All right. So let's if you're all right, can we pick apart the coaching session from what I did, what worked, what the class saw me do, and so as we get feedback, it's not about Josh and the content, but more about how I coached him. And this is just my style of coaching. You guys aren't coming to this training to coach like me. You're coming here to find your authentic selves in your coaching relationship. So me and Lee, we both coach using the framework and the tools, but we both have very different styles. Okay? So where should we start? Who wants to go first? There we go, Inessa.
So I want to go first, and I want to be the first one to say, Joshua, thank you so much for allowing us to be flies on the wall in your coaching session, and it was very valuable. So never feel that the time that's been spent on you is not worth the time, because it really is.
So what was valuable for you, Inessa?
What is valuable for me is the question that that you ask Joshua about measuring his loss, and how he answered to it. That was very valuable, very insightful.
Okay. What else did I do that was helpful for you? No, what else?
Do you want me to answer? Do you want?
Yeah. I didn't say
okay.
go mute.
All right. Okay. No, I thought you were asking the rest of the group. So what you also asked, you asked about the backpack that Josh is carrying around,
So
and
I
that is
used a
something that
metaphor.
you did. But it's also metaphor. So I'm also visual. So for me, metaphor of backpack is something that you can choose to take down, but yet you're carrying, and it's on your back all the time. So it's a weight that you're carrying by choice, but permanently almost until you choose to put it down. So that was, and the way he responded to it gave a lot of insight into how he's experiencing things that he's burdened with.
Great. So the use of metaphor often links left and right brain thinking. Yep. And it kind of visceral, is that the right word? Kind of gave a reaction where it's like, oh, okay, well, put down the fucking rucksack, and I was like, bloody Trump and rah, rah, rah. Okay, great. So asking questions, use of metaphors. Okay. Anything else you noticed, Anessa?
No, not at this
Not at the
point.
moment. Okay,
Just
well,
that it was maybe just the only comment that it was very tricky for Josh to process where he was in. He felt stuck, and you just allowed him to by asking questions to kind of try and get to the point of what it is actually.
So I sat with his stuckness. Yeah, I managed my own kind of anxiety, for want of a better word, to like, fuck, okay, we're stuck, we need to move forward. It's more like, okay, well, we're stuck here now. Okay. All right. Who wants to go next? All right. Well, there we go. Thank you, Kayleen.
I want to jump in before all the good answers are taken.
Yeah, we'll go Kayleen and then Mark. Great.
So I liked that you asked a little bit more about feelings. So saying that, there was talk of anger, and then what is the other emotion? But then you probed a little bit for sadness and saying, how does that look? How does the sadness look? And then, because sometimes when we start actually reflecting on the feelings, and maybe there were other feelings as well, it also helps us to process the whole thing and understand the narrative better. So that's what really stuck with me, in addition to what Anessa already said. But yeah, to sit with a person in the stuckness, to not be in a rush to move them forward very quickly and out of this space, because that's not a natural flow of things. I think it needs to happen sort of in their own time, and it shouldn't be a thing of getting away, running away from something. It should be going through it. So the only way out is through. Is that what they say? Is that the right saying?
So what I was trying to do there is identify one of the 5 emotions that we have. So there's guilt and shame, yeah, which is a very similar kind of feeling. Anger, sadness, fear, and joy. And as I was hearing his story, I was listening for the anxiety, which is like, I'm 28 years old, I'm going to be 30 years old. Like, what the fuck's going to happen? Where's my life? Da, 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 da. Then going to the sadness of the loss of the past. The like, oh, this isn't how I expected it, and all that. There was some sadness there. Then the anger, the frustration. It's like, fuck, and then joy. Yeah, where we haven't really, but those are the 4 feelings that we're trying to identify in the conversation, because then from those feelings we can start to construct something for the client, yeah, for Josh. So we're using metaphor, we're using feelings. Great, cool, thanks. Mark?
Thank you. I loved how you sort of like let it flow naturally. We didn't really like state that we were going to do a coaching session with Josh. I only really had like that light bulb moment when oh gosh, now I've lost my whole train of thought. Okay, let me just forget about that. What I liked was how when he checked in, when you asked him how he's feeling, what was going on from what he said in his check-in, you didn't necessarily make that the contract of what you were going to try and talk about. You asked more questions about how he was feeling around his frustrations. And I loved how you were very like, even though he was getting anxious or frustrated, you stayed grounded and brought a bit of the humor in. Things like that. It felt very natural, and I also liked how, even though he was getting frustrated around time, thinking he had taken so much time out of it, you didn't sort of like just rescue him from that crap, so to speak. Yeah, I thought it was. I've also had a session with Josh, around the same similar, content, and it was great for me to see how you handled him in that, and made him aware of needing some accountability and action and stuff like that. So that was really great for me.
Okay. So when he was kind of wrestling a bit, not to fix, rescue, advise, and project. Yeah, that can be quite a difficult space to hold, especially when the client's kind of going, "What the fuck was that doing?" Okay. Josh, you got your hand up.
Speaking objectively, when you do like, show that stuckness and acknowledge that stuckness and that feeling, instead of immediately, like Kayleen said, moving to a place of trying to get out of it, what actually happened internally for me, because I've had a therapist in the past that really tried to move things out of that way too quickly, and it kind of makes me internalize this feeling of, oh, these emotions are so uncomfortable for me, and they're so uncomfortable for you as well, that you can't sit with them. So I must be like fucked. And by acknowledging those feelings, letting that person feel them and being like, for a little while, and not quickly moving forward, it kind of made me go, okay, I can sit with this. He's not panicking and running away, even though you could tell I was trying to panic and run away. And that really, really helps. So that's something that I noticed, is like being okay with sitting with the uncertainty, the not knowing, the difficulty of something. Because if you can't sit with that, how are they going to talk about it, Especially because I think a lot of the stuff that's going to come up in coaching conversations aren't going to be things that are, very clear-cut issues. It's going to be messy. So yeah, I really noticed that.
Great. Anyone else want to add anything? I want to ask Leanne for feedback, but I'm too scared.
I'm very distracted today. I'm sorry. I am listening. It's good, solid David Collins coaching. It's great that David never tries to frap. Sit with the feelings, be with the experiences, stay with the emotions. It's okay. One of the biggest challenges with working with addicts is helping them to sit in the feeling. It's okay that you're uncomfortable. It's okay that you're scared. A feeling's just a feeling. It'll pass. I listened to a podcast the other day where they were talking about, if you don't hook into a feeling, the average lifespan of an emotion is about 90 seconds. And then it's gone. It's when we hook into it and we kind of live in it that it becomes unbearable. But it's okay to sit with the feeling of dis-ease or whatever it is. So I love the way you never fret.
Thanks, Lee. Yes, Yuri, Garth, you want to add anything?
No,
Hello?
I think I'm okay.
So that's a no from, I think that was Garth. Yuri?
Same. No, that was me.
Okay, yes?
Hello.
Hi.
I think I really liked how you helped him identify what he was feeling. the biggest thing for me there was that you spoke to him about sitting with the baggage, because it sounded like he likes to keep busy and constantly looking for new things to learn, and maybe isn't processing a lot of his feelings around maybe the grief of who he thought he would be now. Yeah, no, I really liked it.
So yes, I really just want to acknowledge you for jumping in now and just putting your views into the container. I think that's very brave and courageous for somebody who's first time in this class and with the loss that you're carrying. So well done, love. Really well done. Yeah, I feel proud of you. Should we, does anyone want to add anything before we take a 5-minute break?
Sorry, Dave.
Yes, Yuri.
I would now like to
Good.
just put in my 2 cents. I think what you being able to help identify, what the feelings are. It doesn't, I don't want to say trigger, but it reminds me of an experience that I had when my first experience with a psychologist, and they were a master's student, and they kept trying me to use different words for an emotion, to get to an emotion, but they offered me no help. So at the end of the day, I was just so frustrated. Because I'm like, listen, my vocabulary doesn't allow for any other different way to express this to you. And yeah, that was the first and last time I went to that particular one. And also that, when people, sometimes I think to myself, what people are going through and what they're describing, I fall into the trap of frapping, not saying it, but thinking it. And like, how am I going to help? How am I going to help this person? I have no answers for this person. But you do it very well to just let them go through it and let them tap into their inner wisdom.
That's very wise, Yuri. And I think what I do is when I want to frap, I'll say, shit, listen, I really want to jump in and help you, but that's not my role. I've no idea what to do with this. Yeah. And identifying emotions needs to be made easy for people, I think. There are lots of fancy words for all sorts of feelings, but that's why we just like to stick, or I like to stick, well, fuck, you feeling angry? You sad? Are you fearful? Or are you feeling joy? If not, and then there's all sorts of nuances of those emotions. So think of them as like the primary colors. Yeah.
No, I have the feelings wheel in front of me.
Hey?
I said I do have a feelings wheel.
Oh fuck! I hate that thing. When people
so do I. Thank you for saying that. I really hate that thing.
When people give me the feelings, identify your feelings, like fuck off. I'm pissed off. Yeah. And yeah. Great. All right, everyone. Are we okay to take a 5-minute break? Garth, did you want to say something?
Yeah, I thought I better participate.
You felt the pressure of the containers, like, oh fuck, I better throw my
fast. What came to mind was sort of a sense of grounding. Like there was a lot of emotion that got brought into the container, and then it was literally like a container, like it was held, and sort of like a co-regulation or regulation from the coaches, just sort of staying focused, asking questions, and allows the other person to just process through their stuff and then, become more and more relaxed. And it's like, I think, well, I suppose that's my opinion, that it's like all those emotions were completely appropriate, right? And just needed to be processed through. So there's no fixing. There's no urgency to get it solved. It's like, just process through that in the appropriate amount of time, and then you can always get to the solution later on when things are a little bit more relaxed and the dust is settled. So that was cool. Thanks.
Cool. Thanks, Garth. You see, Yaz, you see what happened with your courageous move. You got Garth and Yuri to jump in and go, oh shit, we better jump in then if Yaz is doing it. All right, everyone. And Yaz, I hope you don't mind me swearing. All right, everyone, let's take a 5-minute break. Let's come back at 8 minutes past. Yeah, and Josh, thank you very much. Great guinea pig.
Thank you. Here always. See you in 5 minutes.
Yeah, cool. Great. Thanks, everyone. Hey, Josh.
Hey, I'm late, but why is everyone else?
I just want to honor you for your dedication. Out of everyone, you're the best in the class.
Yeah, great. I'm glad this is recorded as well. I hope people, I'm going to send them a timestamp for this moment and tell them to watch it and say it's insightful.
Oh, did Yaz drop off? That's a pity. Okay, Josh, build the container. Let's go.
Okay, Josh checking in, feeling a lot better. Always surprised for some reason that talking about my feelings makes me feel better, even though it's a big part of what I've studied. So it's nice to see that that works. So Josh checking in, feeling a lot calmer, a lot more grounded, and yeah, feeling content. And I'm going to tag Inessa.
Inessa checking in, still feeling frazzled, not because of the container, but because of what's going on in the background. And I'm going to tag Kayleen.
Janine checking in, curious and calm. Much better space than I was last week, so really grateful for that. And yeah, just feeling good in general. A little bit hungry, but yeah, I'm gonna tag Mark.
Thank you, Kayleen. Mark checking in, grounded, and I just want to take the opportunity to inform the container that the reason Sister Chuma hasn't been with us for the last 2 sessions is her phone was stolen in town. And she did ask me to just let everyone know that hopefully she'll be back next week after she's gotten the phone. And so with that, I will tag Garth.
Guys, checking in, feeling positive and enthusiastic. Yuri?
Yuri checking in, excited and ready to learn.
Leanne?
Yeah, I'm checking in, overwhelmed and unsettled.
David checking in. I feel a bit anxious that Yaz dropped off. But I'm sure the universe will work it all out. All right, so where should we go? Where should we go now? Where's my pen? Ah, there we go. Welcome back, Yaz. How are you checking
Hello,
in?
sorry if I took a bit long.
No problem, no problem. How are you checking in, Yaz?
Yeah, fine. Feeling good. Feeling positive.
Okay, good. I'm so pleased you're with us. Okay, let's see if this works. Okay, can everyone see the whiteboard?
Yeah, it's showing now.
Yep. All right, so here's a continuum. And in this continuum, we have 20 weeks. Yep. And we are about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So we're here. Yep. And the first 4 weeks, we spoke about the conversation. And we used that as, oh gosh, hang on, let me just erase. Look at the bottom.
And David,
here.
your whiteboard is showing, but we can't see what you're drawing.
Can't you?
I can see what you're drawing, but I also saw Kayleen moving around and Mark. Looks like a party.
I can see it, yeah.
Can you see it now? Inessa?
I
Bill
can't.
says preparing whiteboard.
Oh, okay. I'm not sure what to do. All right, can you not see
I'll
it?
see it. I'll see it. Does anyone else see it? Maybe David's just sharing it with me.
I can also
Mine
see it.
says more work, less clicks.
More work, less clicks.
That's all it says on it.
I can see it.
I can see people's names now. Like people who seem to be on the page as well. So I can see Yuri and I can see Josh.
Okay. I'm not sure what to do. Anything there now, Anessa?
No, not on my side. I could see it last week, so I'm not sure what the.
It says you're here. Can you pinch your screen smaller?
Yeah.
Still not there.
Mm-mm.
All right. Let's forget the whiteboard then.
Sorry.
It's all right. It's all right. So we're going to play Pictionary with Josh again. So the symbol for the coaching conversation is the headphones. So it kind of goes like that. It has an arch, and then there's goes like that. And the reason for that is we use a symbol to try and create the training that can be taught by using symbols. Yep, so in the South African context, we've got 11 languages. It would be much easier for someone to talk about a symbol in their own language than trying to get the academic information and then translate it. Yep, so that's the headphones is about listening, and then we have the glasses for seeing where the person's going. So this class, if you look at this class, we can see that we're moving down the continuum. Yep. And then we just had a conversation with Josh, and I was trying to place Josh somewhere on this continuum and to see where he wants to go. And his actual homework is just to sit where he is and to let it come. Does that make sense to everyone? You know, it's his thing is to just kind of sit with it and allow the world to unfold around him at the moment. Yep. Okay. Oh. So where should we go with the rest of this container now today? We've got another 45 minutes. How are you lot all doing with the online material? I know Yaz is doing great and has kicked off. How's everyone else doing? One at a time, please.
I've done the first module. I see that there's 4.
Yeah.
The way that I've justified it in my mind is that if we're going to be having 20 sessions, I need to have finished a module every 5 sessions. That's just how I work.
That's wonderful.
So, but it's also really nice because I'm doing other content that's so foreign. So when I do go into our material, I'm like, it's so refreshing. It's like, oh, this is nice, you know, like this is, I don't have to talk about brand architecture. I can actually read stuff that I actually find intriguing. And I really like the way that the content is structured. It's so informative. It's so great to go back to. It's so cool to see how everything we're talking about is in there. So if anyone hasn't, and if you're a bit confused about the framework and stuff, sure, that first module is just brilliant. It's really just, it gets everything down. So I'm feeling quite confident about what I've covered, at least. I can say that.
Great. That's wonderful feedback, Josh. And really, we got to acknowledge Leanne for really putting a lot of that together. It's really, yeah, great. Anyone else want to comment on the content? Who hasn't done any of the content?
Sorry.
We'll go Anessa and then we'll go Kayleen.
So I'm kind of ending the second module. and I'm really enjoying the content. I've printed my manual, so it helps me a lot to watch through the content, and then I work with my stuff, so I highlight and so that I know that I've worked through it, not just reading off the screen. So that helps me a lot, and I really, really enjoy the material.
Okay, good. All right. Kayleen?
So I'm not nearly as far as I would have liked to be with the content, but I did start on module 1, and I do like that there's quite a bit of video content because I'm a very visual person, and I like to see faces and hear what the person is saying as opposed to just reading it off of a screen. So yeah, I think that Josh's goal or sort of benchmark is quite a good one to aim for, to say, well, if we're close to session 10 now, so maybe to spend the next week or two just focusing on modules 1 and 2. Yeah, if that makes sense, if I heard you correctly, Josh. But I think that's a great strategy to pace ourselves, because otherwise it's very overwhelming if you leave that too late.
Thanks, Kayleen. I just loved Yuri's question. What do you mean by online content? Which is fantastic, Yuri. Thank you. So both me and Leanne posted the link at the same time for it. Yep. Feel free to jump on and go through the material. Mark, how are you
Yuri,
doing?
did you say you were training with Nikki in the Western Cape?
Oh yes, I was.
You should have been added to Teachable by your facilitator. If you haven't been, you need to send me your full name and your email address, and I'll do it. You and
You mean
Inessa.
Do you mean the manual, the book?
No, Teachable.
Teachable. Okay, yeah, she probably did. I probably missed
Okay.
it.
Okay, we've
I
got
am
the
on
link in the
Teachable.
notes.
No,
So what was that,
it was
Inessa?
probably on me. It was probably my fault.
No, I said I am on Teachable, so I am going through that material.
Okay.
Do you still need my details?
No, that's what I'm saying. If you haven't been added to Teachable,
No.
but Yuri,
No,
go
okay.
to the link that David and I put in the chat, because if Ines is on it, it means you were also added.
Okay, thank you.
Mark, you got your hand up?
So I realized that just like at school, I totally overcomplicate things by not taking the practical approach like Inessa did and printing it out. I've been writing notes. I've also completed module 1, and I realized that it would have probably been a lot easier if I had just printed it out instead of like rewriting the thing in the note form. So yeah, but I'm also finding it very helpful. And what I've also done is I took your advice from last week, and that was to observe my surroundings and sort of like rather see how it works from an observation point of view instead of wanting to like practice all the time.
And what have you noticed?
That I'm a lot more relaxed and grounded, and I'm seeing things, and I'm not like overwhelming myself with wanting to like micromanage everyone's experience.
Okay, so that's a very important point, Mark. And I think Yuri kind of mentioned it when he went for a therapy session with a master's student. The therapist wanted to kind of do the things, and it was kind of frustrating for him. So allow the clients to do the work. Our work is often just sitting there and observing and coaching and tweaking. Yep. If you find yourself getting exhausted, you're doing too much work. Yep. And it takes hard work to not work. I'll say that again. It's hard work to not work. Like listening to Josh, yeah, there were lots of things I could have done to start working with, yeah, let's do this, and have you thought of that? And da, 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 da. But actually, it was just like, okay, so where are we now? Just to.
Cool, thanks.
No, it's a pleasure. All right, so we've got the classes, we've got the process going, you've got the theory, you're going through the theory. The theory is matching up to what we're being taught in the class. So it should slowly start to kind of settle down. Okay. All right. So let's talk about homework and being late for class. Yep. What happens for you when you're late and you haven't done your homework? What's the feeling that goes on inside of you?
I'd say I hope I'm not disrupting anyone.
Yeah. So what's that feeling?
Guilt.
Guilt. Great. Okay. What else? Kayleen?
I would say fear, because I think as kids we're conditioned to, like, there's a lot of fear that comes with not having done your homework.
A lot
Fear
of
of being mad at the teacher, getting points against you, so you end up with detention later on.
so there's
Yeah.
fear and consequences. Yeah. Okay. What else? Josh?
For me, it's less fear, and it's more of like a social thing. So it's like shame, like how other people are going to view me, or also like how do I view myself or imagine others view me. Like that feeling of, oh, are you incapable? Are you even trying? You know, that kind of feeling.
Are you
It's close to
dedicated?
fear. Yeah, are you actually dedicated? You know, that kind of shame.
Okay. Mark Anthony Pereira.
For me, it would be a feeling of incompetency, wondering if everyone is, if I'm projecting this idea that I'm not reliable or, yeah, competent.
Okay. All right. So a place of kind of shame where people are going to judge you.
Mm.
Okay. All right. So that doesn't happen here. That shouldn't happen here. Why?
I think it's because the nature of the work it's client led. You know, we take as much accountability as we want to. I mean, like even I remember when I came in saying, "Oh, I haven't read through the stuff in like a second session." Leanne was like, "Relax, like you're the only one putting that on you." But it's a very interesting process because I'm now aware of how much I actually do that to myself. I'm like, why do I do that? It's horrible.
Great. Kayleen?
So I want to say that it's because I think when it comes to recovery as well, I want to do something for me. So I know I'm using the I statement here. So
Good.
do something for the self as opposed to doing something just to please others. So it has to come from a place of drive. You're driven to do something, or I'm driven to do something because I have the curiosity, I have the headspace and the bandwidth and the passion. And I feel like I'm in the place in my life where I want to do this thing, whether that be the course, the homework, my recovery journey, whatever that might be, rather than doing it just because someone else is telling us we should be doing it in a specific time frame.
Fantastic. Inessa and then Garth?
For me, this is a place of safety. And if I feel safe, I will learn and I will grow and I will be able to admit where I failed and learn out of that and move on to the next thing.
Garth?
The way I see it is I'm a grown up, so I don't really feel like guilt or anything. If I come in late and I'm disruptive, I'll apologize. But at the end of the day, it's like I'm sort of responsible for me. I do the homework for me and stuff. So it's not like I'm trying to be disrespectful to anybody else or anything. It's like it's like an adult learning environment. So
Great. Okay. Yuri?
Please stop me if I'm wrong, but I also think I might be falling into a trap where I do others people thinking for them, like a form of projection where I think, oh, they're going to think poorly of me. And yeah, but you can't really know what other people are thinking unless they let you know.
Okay. So the culture of addiction is very chaotic. And our clients kind of come from chaotic lives, and we need to be there on time, but to be okay that the clients might not be, and that they'll have a history of often kind of being guilted and shamed and punished and have kind of anxiety, like Kayleen spoke about. Oh my God, I'm late for class, haven't done my homework, I'm going to be in detention, or whatever it is. And to unlearn that stuff takes time. So when Josh arrived at his second session, Leanne was kind of like, oh, relax, like, dude, where's that pressure coming from? It was a new space for Josh to kind of realize, oh, okay, why did I put myself under all this? Yeah. And then I liked what Garth said about, I'm an adult. This is an adult learning environment. And so the coaching conversation is a learning conversation where where we learn these things together. Making sense? So I need to be comfortable, one, with clients kind of rocking up when they do rock up, yeah, and to dance with them in a way, okay, so what have we learned about this? I mean, I think it's different when you have a contract and they're paying for the sessions and they cancel at the last minute and don't pay. That's not okay. Yeah. And that's something I'm still very guilty of. I can still be very like, oh fuck, okay, I understand. And I can get a bit kind of lenient on that area. And that's not really helpful for my own practice. And I don't think it's helpful for my clients that have the means to pay, when they just kind of take the piss. Leanne, do you want to come in with this as well? Because I think this
You
is...
don't even want to get me started on this at the moment, David. I'm so resentful.
Okay, great. So let's go with that. Who's
No.
Okay.
It's yeah, it's a rough time of the year, and my clients don't. I'm very boundarized, and I'm finding people pushing back very hard against boundaries that I put in place, and it's making me super angry. So I'm quite resentful about people's lack of consciousness, not showing up, canceling at the last minute, being late because they're tired. To me, being on time, being not canceling at the last minute, it's not just about me, it's about the other person as well. And it's hard to make other people mindful. But this is an unwell time of the year.
Okay.
Yeah, and people blame it on being tired, and that's fine. But it's also like, it's not okay. It's not okay. I've had to put down some big boundaries in my group. I had a group yesterday where when people were sharing, there must have been half a dozen people sitting with their faces on their cell phones. And I'm just like, what the fuck? Like, really? Somebody sharing something about their lives and you guys are, I don't know, WhatsApping or... So yeah, I'm finding it a very challenging space at the moment around people being unconscious of their behaviors and having to put in a lot of boundaries over and over and over again. So it's challenging for me, and I'm angry. Yeah. Yeah. So that's part of what's going on for me. Yeah, people are unaware. My big thing with wellness to my clients is be conscious of your actions and how they impact the people around you. Being a well person is being conscious of that impact. Being conscious that if you park like a jerk and act like a jerk, it impacts people around you. If you sit with your face on your cell phone screen in a group process, it impacts people around you. So I'm very worked up about this stuff at the moment, as you can hear.
Nice to hear you laugh at the end of it. Okay. But this is the nature of the beast, huh? And part of my people pleasing stops me from holding people to account. And often, because I do that, I can then perpetuate the problem. So that's the other thing. So when people are kind of late for class or whatever, not to shame them, but then there's the other side of it where I might be kind of too accommodating, and it's not beneficial. So to give you an example, I work with an organization over here, and we have monthly supervision, which is mandatory for the coaches to attend. And a lot of them just kind of go, oh, well, fuck, I don't need to attend this. Yep. And then a lack of kind of unprocessed stuff plays out in the organization, and then we get problems. So let's just have an open discussion around this now, because I certainly don't have the answers around this. I can tell you lots of problems. Josh.
I think it's so challenging because like I think my first understanding of this kind of concept and putting up those boundaries was it comes from like my background in SARC and also through speaking to my friends that work in that. And like I think a lot of people that use are very likely to have, you know, certain disorders, you know, whether that be a substance use disorder, some kind of mood disorder, or personality disorder. And like, I mean, for example, with borderline individuals, like they can be quite flaky, you know, and I think that's tough. I think the nature of the work means that you are going to have individuals that are a little bit inconsistent. You are going to have individuals that battle with, you know, being aware of how they come across and how their behaviors affect others because they've been struggling with this for very long. So I think it's a very challenging space to operate within, to put up those boundaries, but also have a sense of understanding. And I think those boundaries are really essential to not let it bleed in that you're somehow not fulfilling your role as a coach by maintaining a boundary. You know, you can have an understanding of someone's circumstance, but, you know, certain levels of understanding actually lead towards tolerance and acceptance of things that aren't very conducive. So I think it's tricky, and I think it's something that I'll battle with and have to learn throughout the process, definitely.
I just want to say to Josh, careful of letting your clients' diagnoses become their excuses. I've worked with plenty of borderlines and bipolars and PDs that can show up consciously and well. You know, remember we work in recovery, we work in wellness. Yeah, oh yeah, but I'm a borderline. Oh yeah, but it's not good enough. Because for too long, the pathology, the diagnosis is also the excuse. But you don't understand, I've got bipolar mood disorder. Okay, what you're going to do to show up differently is super important in that space, you know. And with great respect to the world of clinical psychology, I do believe there's a lot of overdiagnosis. It's like there is absolutely no way that 75% of my group has ADHD, but they've been diagnosed in 15 minutes. And it takes a lot longer to diagnose for somebody with ADHD than 15 minutes. You know, it's a process. For a child to be diagnosed with ADHD should be a 6-month process, not a 6-minute consult with the doctor. You know, so I'm really, especially the guys with a psychology background, be careful of letting the pathology become the excuse, become the reason, become the, you know, it's super, super, super important. It's like my whole thing, don't let your triggers become your excuses. Yeah, but my mom, but my dad, but my sister, but my boss. Okay. You know, we all have difficult, challenging lives and relationships. So, you know, it's just be careful. It's just, I met a woman the other day who's just done her master's in neuropsychology, and she was like, people with depression should never be medicated. And I was like, been working at the coalface of addiction for 10 years, you know. Never is a strong word in this space. So, you know, just don't let people's diagnoses, and some people are misdiagnosed, and I'm not a clinical psychologist, but I'm saying that with 100% certainty, you know, because a lot of people get diagnosed when they are in active addiction, and those are not accurate diagnoses. You know, they really aren't. So hold your clients accountable. You know, I'm also like that. Oh, I get it. I understand. I'm sorry you can't make it. I hope everything. You know what? My goal for 2025 is to charge people for missed sessions.
It's only
True
taking
story.
10 years. Well done, Lee.
Yeah,
Yes.
I'm done. I'm done with last minute cancellations. I'm absolutely done. So, yeah, just a word to the wise, Josh.
Yes, you got your hand up?
Hiya. I really hear you, Leanne, when you talk about the ADHD. It feels like every other person has been diagnosed with ADHD, and it's so simple for somebody to get diagnosed. My son was diagnosed 4 years ago, very easily diagnosed and put on medication. And a couple of years after I got out of my abusive relationship, his behavior started to change massively. And I started to question, after doing all the courses and learning about ADHD and how to handle him and ways to regulate his nervous system, I realized that actually that all these things were that come under the umbrella of PTSD as well as ADHD. So I did some work with him. I did some deep work with him. And then I asked for him to be reassessed. And now they have said he doesn't have ADHD. They took him off his medication, and he actually was suffering with PTSD.
Thank you.
Really great example. It's often situational. Be careful of your clients coming with diagnoses that were given to them while they were in active addiction. That's all I'm saying.
And let's just talk about the South African environment quickly, where we've got 56% unemployment, load shedding, which basically means there was all sorts of electric cuts. There's an economy that's struggling. There's high crime and substance abuse. Just that environment is enough to give anyone psychiatric symptoms. Josh, you got your hand up.
I wanted to comment on Yaz just being a bloody brilliant mother for being curious and not just accepting things, and that's amazing. And I also want to also say that I agree with a lot of the sentiments that Leanne brought up, all of them actually. I think there's a little bit of like a elitism within clinical psych, and I think a lot of the issues when it comes to, I know. But the thing is, what's very odd and peculiar about it is there's a sentience and awareness of that snobbiness within the community, you know? And then I think it's so difficult to get in there. Once people do, they're just so happy to be in the club. But I think what I want to comment on is just that I feel like a big part of it is a systemic issue. I think overdiagnosis, I mean, I'm just commenting, I'm not sure. I mean, perhaps it comes from either just inattentive therapists, or therapists that are like really working with limited resources, where they're not going to see that patient for 2 years and only for like a couple sessions and decide to just throw out a diagnosis, you know. And what I think is great is like with being in this space, I think it's going to help me be a better clinical psychologist if that does end up going that route, because I now have this understanding, and there's a realm for psychology and a need for it. And I feel like I love reflecting. I'm very, very cautious of when that becomes ruminating. And I think a poor therapist can sometimes do a little bit too much of that and not realize that, hey, maybe you need a little bit of coaching as well. You know, maybe we should stop focusing on the past and start looking forward towards the future, you know? So yeah, I agree with everything that Leanne said, and it's very cool to hear my thoughts reflected in another person. It's awesome.
You're waking up there, hey Josh. It's fucking good for you, mate. Anessa?
I think something that I appreciate the most when the difference between counseling and coaching is the fact that with counseling, you kind of drag your client along, but with coaching, they have to walk and they have to show up because it's their responsibility. And for me, the difference that it makes, it just in the field that Leanne just described, the biggest thing is that I charge them for 6 sessions up front. If they miss the session, well, then they miss the session. If they apologize in advance and I can reschedule them, I do. And then the free clients, because I do see quite a few of those through the church, well, if they don't come, they don't come. But then they know upfront that that is going to be their loss. It's not my responsibility to look after them. And doing that with a glad heart, and not in a negative way, but being at peace for myself with that, and not getting frustrated with them because, well, if they miss it, I'm sorry they missed it, but it's not going to affect me emotionally per se. That helps me.
Oh,
You're welcome to shoot me if I'm doing it wrong.
no, you were doing so great. Why did you self-sabotage at the end there? Like, what the?
It's just accountability. I want feedback.
What I'd love to is when you said counseling is where you kind of drag your client along. I just pictured Josh there with his rucksack on his back, being dragged along by the handle on the rucksack along a dirt road, kind of. Oh. Okay, cool. Right, let's start to wrap this up. Garth, you want to jump in quickly?
Sorry, I wasn't conscious of the time.
Relax. No, we got time. Go for it, please.
I think, like, I come from sort of a 12-step AA background where I've had the opportunity to sponsor a lot of people, and they can be flaky at times. And yeah, I developed sort of an attitude of becoming I think the term is unfuckwithable, where it's like it's when people can't mess with you.
Okay, unfuckable.
Unfuckwithable.
Unfuckwithable.
Yeah, so like I've always got something else that I'm doing. So if like the call doesn't come through, it doesn't bother me at all because I'm busy doing something else anyway. And if somebody cancels, I'm like, okay, great, then I can go do something else. And then I never schedule appointments that are inconvenient to me. So yeah. So if it does go south, I mean, like, I'm not really that affected.
So thanks for that, Garth. In the sponsorship relationship, it's essentially a mentor-mentee type relationship that is based around spirituality as a form of payment. So I'll tell you how I work the steps, yep, and how I got sober using the steps. And if you don't follow that way, I feel a sense of relief that I'm not struggling like you did anymore. So for example, a sober alcoholic seeing a struggling alcoholic relapsing and going back to alcohol all the time gives the alcoholic a sense of, oh, thank God I'm not there anymore, which was actually where this whole concept started when Bill Wilson went to go see Dr. Bob in I think it was Akron, and Bill Wilson was 6 months sober. He really wanted to drink. He'd traveled there for work, and he knew he needed to speak to another alcoholic. And he phoned around a whole lot of churches, and this one priest said, okay, we know of this doctor. And the doctor reluctantly said, okay, I'll see this guy. Yeah. And when the guy came there, Bill Wilson came there, he spoke about his story with alcoholism and how he found recovery. And then Dr. Bob says, well, that's all very good for you, but that your story's not going to work for me. And then Bill Wilson said, but I'm not here for you, doctor. I'm here for me. And that was the seed that got the doctor to then enter into a journey of recovery. And that whole thing is based on kind of And as the as the institution expanded, that attraction rather than promotion and that sort of thing. So that's the real heart of it there. I'm here to go and do 12-step work with you to keep myself spiritually sound and sober. And those boundaries have been crossed and challenged, particularly when alcoholism was recognized as a disease in the late 50s and early 60s, and this sort of treatment was taken from religious institutions essentially and was brought into the clinical environment with kind of postmodernism and all that sort of stuff. So and with addiction treatment, particularly in the past 30 years, the psychiatric world have kind of come in and taken this over. And that's why we're getting a lot of over medication and over diagnosis, if you ask me, for my humble opinion. Oh, I've been triggered now. Garth, I feel you, mate. All right, everyone. Let's start to wrap this up. Do you want any homework?
I'm supposed to be doing nothing, David.
It's a closed question, so it's a yes/no answer.
Do you want an honest opinion?
You can give me an opinion. So the point of homework is to forward the action and deepen the learning. Find something for yourselves to do that's going to take you on that journey where you become better coaches, whatever that looks like. So Josh, for you, it's sitting around doing fuck all. Oh, I'm being a better coach. Cool. I'm being a better coach. Cool. Anessa, you need to stop dragging someone by their rucksack and just leave them on the side of the road and say, can I bring you some water? All right, everyone, I check out with a lot of joy. Thank you. Yaz, thoughts are with you. Thank you so much for coming today. And yeah, it's really great having you. And thank you so much for being so courageous and jumping in. I think you've added a lot to this container already. One with the loss in your family, and secondly, how you told us about you and your son. So thank you very much for joining today. I'm going to tag you. Yes. And you're muted if you're talking.
Hello, sorry.
Oh, there we go.
Thank you very much for having me. I think I was not going to join this morning because I think my mind was very busy. But I woke up early. I did some journaling. I gathered my thoughts, and because I've been looking forward to doing this for a really long time. So thank you for having me. And at first I was really nervous, but you've made me feel really welcome and heard. So thank you.
Oh, wonderful. Thank you. Josh, do you want to go next? And then you can start tagging people, Josh.
Josh, checking out with joy, a lot of energy. I'm sure I'd be diagnosed with ADHD in 5 minutes if I had to go in right now. But I'm feeling, yeah, excited, which is great because I've got lots of laundry to do. And I'm going to tag Mark.
Thanks, Josh. I'm checking out with joy. Really enjoyed the session. I'll take Anessa.
Hi guys, Inessa checking out, feeling grounded, and yeah, really enjoyed the session as well. I would like to make an apology for next week. I'm attending a work-related meeting in Cape Town, so unfortunately I won't be able to be there. And
The lack of
I'm going to.
dedication has been noted, Anessa. Let's put that in the book. Okay.
Thank you, thank you. My homework will be to connect with Kayleen for coaching sessions, so she'll have to report on my behalf next time. But I would like to tag Garth.
Garth, checking out, feeling very positive, very enthusiastic. It was a good session. Thank you very much. And sorry, I was distracted. I don't know who's gone. I'll tag Yuri again.
Right, thank you. Checking out Reinvigorated, and yeah, my homework will definitely be to do the online modules. I'll tag Kayleen. Have you gone?
No, thanks so much. I haven't gone yet. I'm Kayleen, checking out, feeling good, positive, and motivated for the week ahead. And I'm going to tag Mark. Have you gone?
I think Leanne needs to go.
Yeah.
There's just
I'm
Leanne.
taking
and I'll
out
tag
with
you.
this. The world we live in is fucked. And I'm super disillusioned. But other than that, I'm good. And hopefully I'll see you at group this afternoon, Mark.
Yes.
And I'm tagging David.
Cool. So Mark, when you go to group, fucking make sure everyone hands their cell phone in.
Yes. No, tell those people no fucking cell phones at group this afternoon. I'm on the
I'll
way
do
home.
that.
You can see how fuss Leanne is, but at least she's
Yes.
happy now that she's fuss, as opposed to being unhappy fuss.
No, I'm angry, boss.
Yeah. All right, everyone. Lots of love. Take care. Huh? See you all next week.
Go well.
Thanks.
Ciao. Bye.
Bye.
Thanks, everyone.